This video introduces you to the basic concept of resistance training. We'll firstly discuss what is resistance training, and then we'll look at different equipments that can be used to provide resistance for effective exercise. Resistance training is the use of resistance to improve one's ability to exert and resist force. The term resistance training should not be confused with weightlifting, powerlifting, or bodybuilding, which are competitive activities, although all three requires the use of resistance training to improve performance. Weightlifting is a competitive sport that involves two major lifts, the snatch and the clean and jerk. Powerlifting is also a competitive sport that includes three lifts, bench press, the squat, and the deadlift. And you might recognize these exercises because a lot of people do them as part of their strength and conditioning routine in normal strength training environment. Bodybuilding is a competition in which participants are judged on the size and definition of the muscles. So these athletes will engage in resistance training purely to build muscles for aesthetics. While the primary focus of resistance training is to build strength and aerobic endurance and size of the skeletal muscles, it also has positive effects on bones and connective tissues. To promote and maintain good health and physical independence, adults will benefit from performing activities that maintain or increase muscular strength and endurance for a minimum of 2 days each week, as recommended by the American College of Sport Medicine. The ACSM recommended that 8 to 10 exercises be performed on 2 or more non-consecutive days each week using major muscle groups. To maximize strength development, the resistance use should allow for about 8 to 12 repetitions and should result in some form of volitional fatigue. Muscle strengthening activities include progressive weight training, weight-bearing calisthenics, stair climb, and any exercise that requires you to resist or perform against some resistance. Let's now take a look at various equipment that can be used to provide resistance for exercise. Traditionally, when we discuss resistance training, our mind turns to the weights room. Common equipment that we see include barbells, dumbbells, medicine balls, various pulleys and machines. Be aware that resistance training doesn't always have to occur in the weights room, and there are myriads of things that can provide resistance for muscular development. First, you have your own body weight. Body weight exercise are popular across a number of settings, with many argue that they are more functional and appropriate, particularly for people who are not as experienced in resistance training. With some knowledge and understanding of your anatomy, you can actually do a complete full body exercise program using just your own body weight. It is often hard, however, if you're only engaging your body weight to adjust intensity of the exercise, certainly to make things easier or harder to accommodate your strength level. With some knowledge and ingenuity, however, you can mediate or modify these exercises to suit individual fitness level. The next is water and the aquatic environment. Water provides a unique environment to exercise in. While buoyancy takes over most of your body weight, thereby reduce stress on your joint, water is a fluid that is about 800 times denser than air. This density will resist your movement in just about every direction as you move. Interestingly, the faster you move, more resistance you will experience. So water or aquatic environment makes it an interesting environment to exercise in, and certainly will give you a unique exercise experience. For those dealing or managing joint injuries or some form of injuries. Being low weight bearing, water or aquatic environment is ideal for you to maintain fitness level while dealing with those injuries. Another fantastic tool for resistance training are elastic bands. Things like short cords, power band, rubber tubings, or TheraBands are just some of the example. In addition to providing extra resistance, they can also be used to alter loading pattern or assist difficult exercise like the pull-ups. Note that with bands, resistance is not consistent throughout the full range of motion. So as band stretches through the full range of movement, intensity or loading will also increase. Then we have free weights, which are essentially any freely moving objects that can be used to provide resistance for exercise, but does not inhibit the occurrence of normal force and acceleration patterns. When setting up a training facility or a gym, free weights have the advantage of being relatively cheap and versatile. You can complete a wide variety of exercises, more than enough for several full body programs with just a set of dumbbells and barbells. When you think about it, any loose piece of objects that is not attached to anything can be used as free weights. Machine weights, on the other hand, are devices that engage simple machines to convey resistance so performers can exercise in a particular manner. So machines are specifically designed so exercise can only perform one or two movements with that machine. Others are simply pulleys and weight stack systems that enable a wide range of activities to be performed. Specialized isokinetic machines enable contraction speed to be controlled and kept constant. While the jury is still out on the benefits of training on such device, it can be useful in clinical and research setting. Many of the weight stacked and pulley machines come with elaborate cam systems to modify resistance as one moves through the full range of movement. This is to accommodate for the fact that our strength is not constant through the range. Whether you should use free weights or machine weights when you exercise in the weights room is a subject of much debate. Advocates for free weights argue that they are more functional and closer related to real-world movements. Because weights are not controlled, free weights enable natural movement pattern of the performers. The lack of control also means that the exerciser is required to engage various stabilizing muscles to coordinate the movement. Others will argue that machine weights do have their place, particularly for those who have limited knowledge of exercise. Most machines are easy to use because movement is generally guided. Machines may be more appropriate for beginners and people with movement restrictions. Certain machines also help targeting and isolating specific muscle groups that is difficult to achieve in other scenarios. In group exercise sessions, pin-loaded machines may be more appropriate as weights can be easily adjusted so people with varying abilities can be accommodated. As far as safety is concerned, while the popular belief is that machine weights are safer, evidence suggests that risks of injury in a well-supervised exercise environment are the same for free weights and machine weights. Injuries associated with the use of free weights are mostly the results of accidents at home and not at a supervised weights training environment. Practically, most strength programs will utilize a combination of free and machine weights. The exercise and the equipment use will really depend on the training objectives and what is available at the time. Thank you for watching this video.